I didn't mean to kill anyone, but one by one, they all died. And every death started with a red line on my sketch pad. I'm Harper, 29, freelance illustrator, part-time coffee shop barista, and full-time starving artist, cliché. Life in the city was bleeding me dry, financially, emotionally, and lately, creatively. I hadn't sold a painting in months. I'd sit at my cracked desk for hours, staring at the page. Nothing came. It was 2 a.m. on a Tuesday when I picked up my sketchbook, more out of anxiety than inspiration. I grabbed the first pen I saw, a fine-tipped red ink pen I'd never used before. That's the strange part. I don't remember buying it. It wasn't my brand. It wasn't from any art set I owned. It was just there, sitting on my desk, like it had been waiting. I didn't think. I just drew. A man, mid-40s, balding, sharp jawline, suit. I'd never seen him before, but the image spilled out of me like muscle memory. When I finished, something felt wrong. Not in the drawing. It was actually one of my better ones. But in me, like I had just opened a door I wasn't supposed to. I shook it off and went to bed. The next day, I was scrolling through my phone during my shift at the cafe when I saw it. Local real estate mogul found dead outside high-rise office. There was a photo. It was him, the man I drew. Same face, same suit, same cold, unreadable stare. At first, I told myself it was a coincidence. Maybe I'd seen his face on a billboard and didn't realize it. My brain played tricks before. Artists have weird visual memory, right? Right? I didn't sleep that night. But the next one, I drew again. This time, it was a woman. Pale, piercing green eyes, wearing a scarf with tiny gold suns. The detail I added, it felt obsessive. I couldn't stop myself. She died 2 days later. Strangled. They found her scarf tied around her neck. By the fourth sketch and fourth death, I couldn't pretend anymore. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't inspiration. It was cause and effect. I drew them. They died. And always in red. I stopped sketching. I threw the red pen in the trash and locked away my sketchbook. But it didn't stop. I'd feel the urge, like a compulsion, this creeping, itching pressure in my hands. Like if I didn't draw, something would explode inside me. One night I gave in. I picked up the red pen again. I told myself I'd just draw anything, not a person. Maybe a tree, a bird, my cat. But my hand had other plans. That's when I drew her. Emily, my neighbor, early 20s, always cheerful, always offering me leftover banana bread or herbal tea. She'd wave when we passed in the hallway. She reminded me of the version of myself I used to be before life broke me down. And now I'd just drawn her. Red ink, tilted head, eyes wide with fear. I panicked. I ran down the hall and banged on her door. No answer. I broke in. I didn't care. She was there, alive, asleep on the couch. She stirred. I made up some excuse about hearing a weird noise and left before I scared her more. She was fine, until she wasn't. 3 days later, I came home to yellow tape across her door. Emily had fallen from the fire escape, ruled accidental. But I knew the truth. And now, the police knew me. Detective Ruiz showed up at my apartment the next day. He was polite, calm, suspicious. Asked how well I knew Emily, if I'd ever seen her upset, if I had ever entered her apartment recently. I lied. Poorly. I said I barely knew her. He nodded. His eyes flicked to my desk. My sketchbook was out. Red pen uncapped. He didn't say anything, but I saw the change in his posture, like he had just found the puzzle piece he didn't know he was looking for. I tried to stop again. I threw away all the red pens, burned the drawings, Even checked into a motel for a few nights to clear my head. But something followed me. One night, I woke up to a single page taped to my motel mirror. A new drawing. Fresh. Still wet with red ink. It wasn't mine. But the style? It was my hand. My lines. The person drawn. Detective Ruiz. I lost it. I drove straight to the station. Tried to warn him, to explain everything. The deaths, the drawings, the ink. He thought I was threatening him. They arrested me on the spot. 48 hours later, he was dead. Car crash. Brakes failed. I was still in holding when it happened. When they let me go, they said nothing. No charges. No explanation. Just a quiet warning in a cold hallway. Don't come back unless you want real trouble. But I wasn't thinking about prison anymore. I was thinking about who or what was using me. The real horror wasn't that I was causing these deaths. It was that something else was. And it needed me to draw. I started researching. Automatic drawing. Spirit writing. Possession. Cursed objects. And one thing kept coming up. Intention. If I didn't intend to kill, maybe I could flip the script. Use the ink, but draw someone already dead. A historical figure. A victim from the news. Just to see what would happen. I tried it. I drew a portrait of a murder victim from a cold case file online. And the next morning, the case was reopened. An anonymous tip had come in, pointing to the real killer. I drew another. Same result. Somehow, the ink, the force behind it, wasn't just bound to death. It was bound to truth. So now, I still draw, but not for money, not for fun, for justice. Victims long forgotten, cold cases, people the system failed. I use the red ink. The drawings find their way to the right inbox, the right reporter, the right detective, and death becomes the beginning of something else. But sometimes, when I let my guard down, when I forget to lock the drawer where I keep the red pen, I still find a page waiting on my desk, drawn in my style, my hand, but it's not my work. It never is. Last week, I found a new one, a face I know too well, mine. Justice always demands a price. I just didn't know it would come for the artist, too. Sometimes, power isn't about control. It's about understanding when you're just the vessel. The question is, what happens when the vessel breaks? If you made it this far, tell me, would you keep drawing if it meant saving lives but knowing one day your own would be on the page? Like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what's the most chilling coincidence you've ever experienced? Until next time, stay twisted.